To this evening's cat chat. We are a little bit late because we've had all sorts. In the last 5 minutes, we have had tech challenges. We have literally had fireworks on screen, and then we had cat vomit. So we've just taken a few minutes to just deal with life as it throws things at us. You know, we are all human. And that's what we're dealing with. So we said we'd be here for 7:30. We're a couple of minutes late, but we made it. So thank you for bearing with us and welcome to everybody that's joining us. So I go live regularly for the Cat Chat segment. And this week I wanted to bring some special guests to share with you all. So we've got the wonderful David, Claire, and Jennifer. So give everybody a wave. I will do more introductions in just a second. So these lovely peeps are from my Become a Soul-Led Cat Guardian program. And I brought them all live today because I wanted them to share with you their stories of dealing with anxiety, of dealing with issues with their cats, behavior problems, health issues, and we're going to come to everybody in turn tonight. So I'm going to do a very quick round robin and just ask you all to introduce yourself and say basically like who you are, where you are, and tell us a bit of an overview about your cat or your cats. So we're going to come to David first.
Hi, my name is David. I live in Rochester, New York in the United States. My cat's name is Walker. I've had him as a rescue for 10 years. Next month, he is a Valentine's baby. His birthday is coming up and he will be 14. And he is my best bud and the love of my life.
Absolutely true. Love that. Love that. Thank you very much, Claire.
I'm Claire. I'm in Nottinghamshire in England. I've got 3 cats. Lila, who is 17, Tilly, who is 16, and Woody, who is 13. So I've got lots of senior cats, which I've had since they were kittens. So yeah, dealing with some older cats now.
Love it. Thank you very much. And Jennifer.
I am Jennifer, and I live in Alexandria, Minnesota in the U.S., and I have one cat, Destiny, and we rescued her off the streets, and she just turned 12 at the end of December.
Oh, I didn't realize she was 12. I didn't realize she was that old. Crikey.
She is.
Wow. Thank you very much. So I put a post out on social media to talk about anxiety. And as you may have seen, you know, I'm being really clear about Naturally Cats, that is who I'm helping, people with anxiety themselves and anxious cats. And I know that the 3 of you, with your many fur babies, from the ones that you've got now and the ones that came before, you've dealt with this. You've dealt with anxiety. Now, you may not label it anxiety. It may be fears or worries or doubts. But I know as cat guardians, you all love them. And when we love something or we love someone, we worry about them. So I have called it anxiety. And if that doesn't resonate for you, that's absolutely fine. But I'd really love for you guys to share a bit tonight about what you've experienced and how you've dealt with it. So I'm really going to just be like the kind of the MC and the host. You know, I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves and share the conversation. So let's start off with what was it that brought you to the Soul-Led Guardian program? Like, what was your tipping point? Why did you decide to take that step? So let's go reverse order this time around. Let's go with Jennifer.
For me, it was we lost our 6-year-old cat totally unexpected during COVID. And I carried a lot of guilt and over losing him. And so fell back into a deep depression. And I just wanted to focus more on our current cat and give her a better life and watch her kind of bloom without him here anymore. And just trying to be present with her and just kind of support her, be there for what she needed instead of constantly feeling the guilt and sadness from losing the other cat. So I just needed to try to let go of that guilt so I could move on with Destiny.
Why did you use when you said be present, why was that there?
Because I think just to really be there for her and understand her and talk to her and give her what she needed, because she ended up being a totally different cat after losing Chance. And I mean, it's a good thing, because he, sad to say, but he was a bully to her and picked on her. So she kind of was in a shell and would go hide a lot. So now it's like we're watching this cat that is now doing things and playing and, you know, turning into this just beautiful human for us. And it's just that I had to let go of things for me because I needed to be there for her.
Mm-hmm. So talking about bullying, I know, Claire, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but one of the reasons why you sought some help was because of things that were going on with your three. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Woody, who is the youngest, but he's the boy and the other two are girls, he is much bigger than the girls. He's massive in comparison. And I've suffered with stress and anxiety and depression, but I'd started to feel better myself last year. But when I started to feel better, I then started to see a different reaction in Woody. And I think it was around a lot of attention that I perhaps wasn't giving him. And he just started bullying the girls. He'd just literally wake up, look over, and just pounce on Lila. And it was just devastating. And I just couldn't understand why. I struggled to deal with it because I'd get angry. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be angry at him. I want to learn and understand why this is happening so that we can, you know, hopefully deal with it and process it. And it's awful to watch your cats. And like they get on most of the time, but it's just so out of the blue and it's devastating. He also kept waking me up many times throughout the night asking for food. So it was like a constant need for something. And I didn't know what that something was. Mm-hmm. And I needed to find out because it was giving me stress and anxiety. And we weren't a very peaceful household at that time. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of tipped me over the edge. And I kept seeing these adverts on Instagram. Obviously, I've, you know, followed you for a while and used some of the herbs. And just at that one point, it was like, I'm going to contact her, and that was it. And I'm just surprised I did that in the first place, but I was looking for something and it just all happened at that time and I just dived right in.
Indeed you did. We're going to come back to that. Thank you, guys. I'm going to do in a minute. We'll delve more into your story. So thank you very much. David, how about you? What was going on with you and Walker?
Well, for me, there are two separate areas. The primary reason I had gotten in touch with you was with my cat Walker. I rescued him, and prior to that, the home he was in was fairly chaotic. And because of that, he developed what I consider to be a kind of PTSD through the trauma that he experienced. And he exhibited that by being very cautious of strangers, not having a lot of self-confidence. He was always very hyper vigilant and never seemed to be relaxed unless he was physically asleep. And that caused me great concern. And after being in touch with you, it also came to light. And one of the things that was really the source of true anxiety for me is that obviously I'm older and I began to have concerns and fears about what would happen to him if I passed away, since he is so dependent on a very quiet, controlled environment and admittedly not a low maintenance cat. Great guy, but he takes a little bit of work. I started to get very fearful of what would happen to him and doubted that he would be able to survive in any other kind of environment rather than the one he was in. Mm-hmm. And that really escalated into quite a bit of fear for me. And one of the primary reasons that I did come to you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I want to talk a bit about the emotions. So we've given people an overview of your stories. And the reason why I've got you all together is because you've all got very different stories. You know, you've all got different roads as to why you've come into the Soul-Led Guardian program. I want to just put up Jodie's comment. Well, Jennifer, I had this experience too. My cat passed away and my other cat, Diddy Girl, really came out of her shell. It's really interesting, you know, how they change when the dynamics in the house change. So let's talk a bit about, if you're open to it, guys, about the emotions that were going on for you. Because, you know, like Jennifer and Claire, you've mentioned like depression. David, you talked about like this kind of real sort of gripping fear. And I'd really like to know, like, why did you take a step forward for yourselves because of your cats? Like, I know that seems like a really obvious question, but I'd really love to hear it from you guys. Let's go reverse order. And like, so why did you take a step? Like, why did you take action to deal with those emotions because of the cat? David.
Primarily, it had to do with my relationship with Walker, that I do not see him as merely an animal companion or a pet, that he is truly my family. I feel very strongly that our animal companions, all animals, are feeling, sentient, emotional beings. And they are the same as us, as being beings of light. The only difference being that he's in a cat body and I'm in a human body. But we experience life the same way. And my thought of his not being as fully fulfilled and happy and at peace really caused me a great amount of sadness. And I wanted to do everything I could to maximize our relationship. I feel that it is no accident that we came together, that we have a soul contract together. And for lack of a better word, I felt like I needed to better uphold my end of that contract. And that is why I came to you.
I love that. Hold up my end of the contract. That's very deep. I think it's beautiful, David. Thank you. Claire.
I think I'd spent so long not feeling anything, just pushing everything down that came along. And I was just living a closed life. And although I could feel love from the cats and my love, I wasn't living a life with joy and happiness. And that's what I wanted to change. And that's why I joined. And obviously the kind of tagline of, you know, communicate with your cats, understand them better. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to, you know, give them everything that they need. And a little like David, these are my first cats and I've had them a very long time. And I feared them, what would happen when they would pass. And it would be a constant thought and panic. And actually that's changed a lot now. So it's much lesser. And it's not easy. There's ups and downs, but I'm finally starting to feel and live my life with an open heart, and feeling the rewards that I get from the cats and from those around me has just been so rewarding.
Thank you. I didn't realize you had that fear as well, you know. I didn't realize that was there for you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Hannah. I appreciate that. Jennifer.
And with me, of course, it was the guilt, the sadness. And I really didn't feel like I could move on. And I was just stuck in a very low energy level. And everything, I'd watch Destiny. And if she did something that reminded me of Chance in the few days he was sick, I was like, oh my word, she's going to pass away too. And I was scared all the time. I was fearful. Anything I noticed, seriously, it was anxiety, stress constantly, because I thought, is she going to die too? Because we don't know why Chance died. And I was like, is it something in the house? Is it like, why is this happening, and trying to make sense of everything. So it just built all of these feelings of, the guilt, the sadness, anxiety, fear, everything. So that's when I just was to the point that I knew I had to change and do something so I could help her.
What was that like being in that state? Not I'm not saying like, God, you're in a state. I mean, like, in that kind of state of mind. How was that, like, day to day? Like, how did you live with that?
It's hard. I mean, because seriously, it was like I would, every little movement, or if she would scratch, like he was scratching all over in the end, or if she'd run a certain way. I mean, it was just everything. I would react. And then, of course, my husband would try to reassure me and say, no, she's fine. But then I'm like, well, how do we know? It's just, you constantly questioned everything that we were doing as cat parents. And just that worry was there constantly about her.
Mm-hmm. So, like, was anything and everything she did, is it fair to say, like, you were heightened to watch, to read, to like worry, to doubt, to fear about any movement that she made? Is that what happened?
Yes. And I work from home, so I am with her 24/7, and it's just to watch. I mean, when Chance got sick, and it was just over a few days. I mean, you stay up 24/7 and you're watching and trying to help. And then after he passed, then you're watching her, making sure she's okay. And it's that constant, every little movement. I mean, I was just very heightened awareness to everything. And if her eyes were running, or if I mean, it was absolutely everything that I would worry about.
So it was like all consuming for you, just anything and everything was all about that.
Yes.
Yeah. And Claire, did you have that when the cats were fighting? Like, everything else kind of just paled in comparison, because it was just like, what's going on? How do I stop it? What, are these going to get hurt? Like, tell me a bit about that. Like, do you align with Jennifer in terms of like how it could feel overwhelming?
Yeah, and it was exhausting. Just, not only being woken up several times throughout the night, but just being on edge. Like now or before, like if they started fighting, I'd wake up instantly. Like, you were attuned to that. Whereas probably years before, I wouldn't have even known they were doing it. But it's almost like I'm in fight or flight mode and I need to protect the girl because they're tiny and he's massive, and, and it's exhausting. And the stress, I felt so guilty because I was getting angry at him. And that's just devastating, because I love them so much, and it's just, you shouldn't be, nobody likes it when people are angry and you feel bad, don't you? And so, and knowing that I'm having an effect on his mood as well, and in turn the girls. But yeah, it was tiring. I was just coming to my wit's end.
I bet it's a bit like, from what you've said, it almost sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you're kind of on like this infinity loop, right? So it's like they do the behavior, you get angry and frustrated, then you feel shitty, then they react, and then it's like just all goes again. Yeah. And I, like, is that kind of what it was like for you?
And the worst thing was, the only thing I thought would help was to feed Woody, because I thought that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And that did appease him for maybe half an hour sometimes. But I got into the cycle of, they start scrapping in the night, so I wake up, go downstairs, feed him, and then of course he's eating all this food which he shouldn't be eating. But that was just, I've tried to stay awake, I've tried to protect the girls, but it was just getting too much. And yeah, I was not happy with the way I was reacting, and just couldn't understand why it was happening, and that was really frustrating.
And you needed it to stop, right?
Yeah.
Like all of you, it sounds, you needed things to change. You needed it to stop, So like, you needed the aggression to stop. Jennifer, you wanted the worry to go. And David, like, I come to you with the fear with Walker, how kind of consuming was it? Like, how much did it go round in your head or your body? You know, how this fear that you had over him, like, did that get worse as he got older?
Definitely. It started as just a thought, and then over a period of time, it quietly grew and then became pretty consuming. And it was only one day that, in working with you, that it really came into sharp focus of really how much it had taken up a lot of my thinking. And as was said with Jennifer and Claire, it becomes exhausting because you realize how much energy you're putting into that. And then, though I was aware of it before in working with you and actually doing a chakra cleanse with you, coming to light that my thoughts were impinging upon him, that he was aware of my energy. And then that even made it kind of worse because now I felt guilty that because I was producing so much negative energy that it was impacting upon Walker. And so that kind of compounded even further.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at that point that I knew that there really had to be a major change, and why when you made an offer of the Soul-Led Cat Guardian program that I really jumped on that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that as a point of being able to actually do something, because I had no tools to be able to fix it or to make any changes.
Yeah.
So I thought.
Indeed. So you thought you did have them, you just didn't know you had them, which is what we do. We do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love what you said about, you know, it's a thought. I think that's a really interesting perspective. And you know, in SLG, as we call it, Soul-Led Guardian, you know, we talk a lot about thoughts because they can be a fleeting, passing thought, or it can be something like a weed in your garden that embeds. And then it just grows and grows and grows. And what happens is in amongst all of that is the shame, the guilt, the shoulds, the desperation to help the cat, to stop the cat, to deal with the cat, to whatever it is that the situation is going on. And then you couple in with that as well, extra layers of, I'm a bad cat mom, I'm a bad cat dad, I'm not doing it right, I don't know what's going on, I don't know how to fix it, I don't know how to stop it, I'm getting angry, I'm shouting, I'm, you know, like, am I kind of on par with things here?
Yeah.
So I have these beautiful people in my program, and my program was created from my experience. So with my boys, you know, like I posted on social media, like 2nd of January, my word for this year is growth. Boy, did Leo not hold back. 2nd of January, he wheezed on the side of the chair, and I'm like, right, got to buckle in for this one, you know. And I've put a post out about that. You know, you can see the as to why he did it and what we worked through. But I'd really love to come to you guys and hear about your experience. So we've talked about where you were and why you took that step, like why you decided to take action. Because I think that's the key. You know, you all, from the sounds of it, were in very, I don't like to use the word dark, heavy in terms of like vibration and emotions, very heavy spaces with a lot of weight on your shoulders of your emotions. And you decided to take action. You made a choice to change things, whether that was because you were at rock bottom or somewhere the crusty bit just above it, perhaps, but you decided to make a change. So I'd really love to know, like, when you came into the program, which we talked a bit in all of your separate interviews. I would love for you guys now to share, how did that go? Like so Claire's laughing, so I'm coming to you first. So when you joined SLG, how did that go?
So when I joined, I was feeling okay. My, you know, vibes were quite high. I was feeling, you know, like I was achieving things, and I just needed to understand and, you know, be able to help the
for your
cats. And,
decide for your cats. Yeah.
So obviously I was like, yeah, this is great. And actually these tools are great. But then you have to look at, your emotions and what you're feeling. And that's when it became, you know, a bit more for me, because it kind of brought out things that I'd been pushing down and trying to avoid. But obviously in them coming out, there has to be some release and the emotions have to come out. So I think sort of like 3 or 4 weeks in, I was a bit of a mess.
I laugh. It's not funny, but I laugh because I look at where you've come. But
yeah, and it was just, you know, and it was really difficult. But I was just so grateful for that, because now I've come out the other side of that, but come out and I've learned and I've evolved as a person. And I mean, you know, 10 months ago, I definitely wouldn't be speaking to people about my emotions and, you know, about my struggles and or even my, you know, wins. So, you know, it's completely different. But yeah, it's not been easy. But what I've learned is that, you know, it can't be high all the time. There are ups and downs. But I've got the tools to be able to release it now instead of pushing it down. And that is really important to me. I've spent too long ignoring and not dealing with it. And now I can, like you say, with the crusty layer, keep trying to move through and release it and grow and, you know, be able to feel the love and the joy. So.
And that's
So,
the
yeah.
easy thing is to push it down, right? The easy thing is to ignore it. Like, hands up here if you ignore your emotions. You know, I've done that. You know, like totally. You know, it's the easy option at times to sit there and, as we say in SLG, find it, feel it, and release it. That is not the easy way. Like, that is not the easy road. You know, if people want to connect with their cats and have that deeper understanding and awareness, it's not just a simple how to connect with your cats. Like, you know, you've got to do the work, right?
Absolutely. You've got to work on yourself.
Yeah. And Jennifer, what about you?
I was probably at a pretty low or heavy, dark space when I started the program. Because I've talked about it before. I've suffered from depression since my dad passed away, because I was very close with him. And that's been since 2006, but it's something I live with every day. So there was things with that. And then, of course, with Chance. So I was pretty in a low spot. And so the program just helped me with a lot of things and, you know, to release those emotions, or just, you know, find it, release it. And the journaling helped me a lot. And it just, you know, helped me to deal with certain situations or look at things differently. And now I feel like I don't let things bother me so much as they did in the past. I mean, it's like, whether it's things around the house or whatever, it's not important. I just am able to now just not let those small things bother me as much. And I try to stay more positive in things, because I know that Destiny is so connected to me and she feeds off every one of my emotions. So I am very cautious. Now I'm more aware of how my feelings affect her. So I kind of try to pay close attention to that. And sure, there's ups and downs and, you know, forth. But yeah, so.
So did you know that when you joined SLG that you were going to kind of go through and come out of it and be in a space where you actually realized that you needed to tend to yourself in order to support her and help her thrive? Did you realize that that would be an outcome?
Not as big of an outcome as it ended up being. I knew I would have to do stuff, but it just really made me realize, I mean, I do. It's like I have to work on myself, because everything I do and my emotions and how I'm feeling affects her so much. And of course, I'd give everything for her. And so that's where it's like, I need to be a better me so I can help her.
Yeah. So do you push those feelings to one side now? Do you deal with them? What do you do when things come up, when you feel heavy?
I deal with them. And yeah, whether it's journal or just work through them, or, feel it and then just let it go. So, yeah, because there's always times, I mean, there's those low moments, or, things will pop up and memories and whatever. And it's just like, I'm able to deal with it. Or it's like, I've had a lot of things happen that now I just feel more at peace and have accepted a lot of stuff and had, to work my way to where I am today.
So you've gone from, and I'm not saying that this is like all the times, like you said, we're human. Like, we are all human. There are heavy days, there are light days, and everything in between. But have you gone from like dealing with depression and fear and worry like every minute of the day to acceptance, a bit more peace, and a bit more joy? Is that fair to say?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. And David, how about you?
Well, certainly I have to echo what Jennifer and Claire have said, that we are all of a similar experience in how we have come together to work with our relationships with our cats. The thing with the program for me is that, as I alluded to before, it gave me a context to work within. And along with that, real tools that gave me an expression to be able to make changes within myself and with Walker. In joining the program, I thought most of it was going to be about Walker. But as it turns out, the vast majority of it is about me. And in working on me, then it ripples out to him. And as well ripples out into both of the context of our lives. Your question to Jennifer, asking whether from day to day, if the worries were less, if the anxiety was less. And today I can say the original anxiety I had about Walker and whether I were to pass away before him is no longer a worry to me on that day-to-day basis. It's fleeting once in a while, but at this point, I know that I have the ability to work with that. And I know that in going through this program and in working more with Walker, communicating more with Walker, that he has the inner strength, that I know now that he can adapt. And so that causes me much less concern and worry. So the program, it doesn't mean that each one of us, I think, doesn't still have to be constantly vigilant, that from day to day, as you said, we have good days, not so good days, what we would call a fizzy day versus a low vibration day. And the ongoing benefit of this program is that it keeps us focused on that higher vibration and gives us a way to be able to reach that higher vibration rather than succumbing to those day-to-day fears and doubts and worries that inevitably crop up for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for those of us, it's especially that take our relationships with our cats and our companion animals very seriously.
Yeah.
That they are in our lives for a reason, and we have to respect what that means.
Mm. Thank you. I love that. So can you believe it's nearly 8:10 already? I've got just a couple more questions. Where is the time going? So really? we put the post out to say we were going to talk about anxiety, which we've done. We've talked about what, your individual journeys and how that brought you to the program. I'd love for you all to share what has been one of the best tools for you inside the program to help you deal with your anxiety or your fears, your dense emotions. What has been your favorite tool and why? Let's start with Jennifer. Sorry, I just expect you guys go, Jennifer.
Oh man. For me, it's probably some journaling, and then we had the now and the next.
Explain a little bit about that, or do you want me to do that?
You can do that.
Okay. I knew you'd say that. Okay, so do you want to explain why, and then I'll explain what it is?
Well, because for me, it just gave me the outlook like this is like now, and this is where I want to be, or this is how I want it. And it just, I don't know, it just helped me realize things and just know how I want to feel.
Okay, let me explain it, and then you can go into it. I should have done it the other way around. Okay, lesson for next time. So now next is one of the tools we have in the program. Now I'll give you guys an overview, and because there was a bit more detail to it, but essentially what you do is you look at how you feel in this moment, and you write down everything that's going on for you, because you're like, in this snapshot, in this moment, I just need to what everything that's going on, and you write it all down, and then you take a breath and you look at what's in that list, and you pick your top 3, and then you expand on them. So as this goes back to our foundation of find it, feel it, and release it. So we're finding what is going on with this in the column. This is what's going on for me right now. Then we feel it. So we pick the top 3. So we read everything we've written, and we're like, right, that one resonates, that one resonates, that one really resonates. We expand on that a bit more to say, I feel this because of now that, due to whatever. So you find it and you feel it. And then you release it by either taking a breath, going for a walk, or doing whatever you need to do. Then you look at next, and you look at, how do I want to be? Like, what do I want to feel? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And you write that down. And it's about helping you to look at, like, what's going on with me, and hello, Walker, how can I shift it? Oh no, not another vomit, is it? Is he okay?
Yeah.
All right, bud. How do I feel now, and how do I want to feel? Because in SLG, as we say, you always have a choice. Yes, your emotions may be overwhelming. Yes, your emotions may be overpowering, but you always have a choice in how you feel and what you do with it. So then we look at next, how do I want to feel? So it really gives you the space to say, like, yeah, I'm feeling really shitty, for example. I'm at the low end of the vibrational scale. Like, things are really hard. This is really tough. And I know I can shift it. So I want to, let's use the example of Walker, because he's here and I feel inspired to do so. So, my cat's just vomited. I'm really worried. I'm really scared. I'm really fearful. I'm really annoyed, irritated. Right. So those, I'm not saying this is how you feel, David, but, you could feel those things. And it's like, yeah, I feel that because, we were just about to go live and he was sick yesterday. So I'm worried it's happening again, etc. And then you look at, how do I want to feel? And okay, so I'm hopeful that, now he's got it out of his system, he can feel better. I trust that he will eat later when he's ready. And I know that when I finish this live, I can connect with him and I can find out a bit more about what's going on. So you look at how you felt and how you want to feel. So I could talk about that more, but I'm almost teaching, and that's not what the purpose of the live is. So back to Jennifer with the now and next. Why do you like that tool?
Because it just allows me to write down like my feelings and just basically how you said, and to go through that stuff and then what I want to feel. Mm-hmm. So it just, to me, it just gave me something to look forward to. Like
why was it impactful to you? Like, why did it work for you?
Because I never looked at things like that before. I just stayed at that lower, level, and I never looked at, oh, well, this is what I would like, or the next, so I just never thought to think of, well, it could be this way,
okay, yeah,
so
yeah, okay. So you always just stay in the now, stay in the stuck, stay in the heavy, without even conceiving of the fact that you could shift and move and feel different. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, Claire.
I've got a couple, but the first one was right back to the basics, the emotions wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'd spent so long sort of just pushing everything down, I wasn't allowing myself to recognize what I was feeling and actually feel it. So that was really useful. I'd often be lost for words because it's very easy, isn't it, to say I feel stressed or I feel sad, but it's actually digging a little bit deeper.
And we're not always told, like, sorry to interrupt you there before you go on to the next one, like we're not always supported or taught or guided to actually digest our emotions, right? So like you said, you couldn't articulate that. When we say stress, is a great example, like stress because you've had a busy day, stress because you're physically tired, stress because you're overwhelmed, stress because you're mentally spent. Like, what does stress mean? You know, and as humans, we do that. Like, I'm tired, like physically, mentally, emotionally. So I think the wheel is great because it helps you to, like you said, you know, find out what is going on. Sorry, darling, back to you.
That's all right. And then I think the second one that I've used quite a lot is and I hate saying this, the here we go.
I can't do it either. Hoponopono, I think is how you do it, or hopopono, I don't know.
So obviously once I'd spent some time with the emotions wheel and, you know, feeling and recognizing it, and then looking at perhaps my limiting beliefs around those emotions, I was able then to use that Hoponopono to, you know, say thank you, forgive myself, which was really important. You know, I recognized that I feel like this, but, you know, you are worthy, whatever it was around. And then to sort of release it and say, you know, thank you, I release you. And again, like Jennifer, writing it down was part of that release as well. And that was really useful. And then journaling. So I'd never journaled before and didn't really know where to start, but you just start. And I think I was just self-conscious that I'm actually putting my feelings and emotions down and thoughts down. And actually that, I don't know what, there was fear around that. But it's been really, really helpful to it. And again, like Jennifer, it's getting it out. It's not just stuck in your head. And I go back and read them now, and I can reflect on my progress. I can reflect that, yes, actually, those were some good times, but then there's not been some great times as well. But then I can see that I've come back out of that the other side. So yeah, it's been really useful.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, darling. And David?
All the tools I found useful for sure. And I was going to speak more on journaling because that was the one that really took me by surprise, because I had never done that before. And when I was first introduced to it, I really dismissed it as really kind of silly and stupid.
You can say it. Yeah, I love that truth.
And as it turns out, it's become a very important thing to me, that to be able to get those words out of my head and out of my heart and commit them to paper frees up space in my thinking and in my heart for other things. So that's all I'll say about journaling. That a couple of the tools that I have found very useful. One is how we are encouraged, actually beyond encouraged, but how we celebrate our wins. And it involves
what you were going to say then.
Having to sit and think of the wins that come into our lives from day to day. And so often of the time, I can sit there and on a cursory level, I'll say, I don't have any wins. But in taking the time to go within ourselves in our thinking, every day there is some kind of a win, and some can feel larger than others. But as we have come to find out as SLG participants, any win is a win. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. It's just a win. So that's one of the big ones for me. The other is the tools that we have that are called data points and anchor points. And those have become very important to me because data points can be described as those things that we can mark as signposts along our progress. and we keep them in a journal or written down somewhere. And for me, I can go back and review those, and it shows me progress that I have made. And that's very important because sometimes you can get lost and feel like, oh, I'm spinning my wheels. I'm not making the kind of progress that I want. And so having those data points really gives you that signpost of the progress that I have made.
Mm-hmm.
The other one are the anchor points, and those are those experiences that remind us of a success or remind us of a high point within our progress. And those become invaluable because those are what kind of gives you that leap on that vibrational scale. You can go back and read a certain anchor point or review all of them, and it can't help but raise your vibration from that denser kind of thinking that is so easy to fall into. That this program certainly cannot be described as a one and done, that there is constant vigilance, and every day is work on that. But having the tools available, having the support system there in an environment of total trust and not judgment, there's no comparison to feeling as if that I had to undertake that project on my own and not knowing any idea of how to do that. And so that is my gratitude for the program.
I would do you a heart, and I can't do heart. So Claire, give us all a heart. Here we go. Look at this, peeps. Look at those beautiful hearts. And do us some fireworks whilst you're there. Yay! We don't know why it does it, but we love it. Thank you, David. Oh, beautiful. I love that.
If I could say one more thing. I was just looking at the comments here, and I'm kind of inspired to say something. And there was someone, Tiffany V, says, I completely agree. So special to hear other cat guardians expressing such love and understanding. This is a part of the program, too, that I wanted to address, and that is giving me a feeling of I guess I would have to say normalcy. For a while, I thought it was really crazy that I felt so bonded to my cat. And for a while, I felt as if it was kind of abnormal, that I felt so protective and so much love for this guy. And that was another thing with the program, to come together with other folks that feel the same way, made me feel as if that I'm not quite as wacky as I thought I might have been. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because Tiffany reminded me of that in her comment. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We do still think you're wacky, but we love you wacky. Okay, so let me think of it. Let me just get a question to close. Hang on. So we talked about your anxieties and your nervousness, your fear, why you took action, why you wanted to try and help your cats. And we've talked a bit about what your surprise has been with the work and the Tiffany says she's been called crazy so many times. And Jodie said she feels the same. Let's just show these. I lost my train of thought. Thank you for commenting, guys. So yeah, we've talked a bit about the surprises that you had, that, helping your cats to, reduce the fear that you then bring to the relationship, to stop the to reduce the aggression by looking at your emotions, and to reduce and remove the fear and worry of what's going on every day. You've all done that by looking at yourselves, and the surprise has been along the way just how much you've done for yourselves, for your cats. So let's end on a bit of a high. So let's talk a bit about what is life like with them now. So like you were struggling with your anxiety and your worries. You came into SLG, you had the shock that you had to do some work for you, and you've all got lovely tools that you use, from what I hear, like daily, regularly. what's been like the best thing like now? So tell us a bit about what is your relationship like with Walker, Destiny, Tilly, Woody, and Lila. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about how things are now before we close down. So what is life like, sort of like after, if you like, although it is ongoing, but after SLG? Claire, let's start with you.
So the household is so much more harmonious now, that we still have the odd, thing here and there. But I've actually got two very relaxed cats on the bed next to me.
I have to say, I'm surprised that you've been on camera and we've not had somebody coming across.
Tilly's tried several times, but Woody is laid right on the bed where she uses the steps to get up.
Okay.
She keeps coming in, walking around, seeing if he's still there, and walks away again.
So usually when we're on a call and Claire's on a call with us, we normally only see this bit of Claire because she's usually got a pussycat in front of her. Sorry, love, carry on.
It's just so much more relaxed, and my bond with all three of them has changed because what I've learned is they're all different. Mm-hmm. So I've got a different relationship with each of them, and I've kind of accepted that now. And it's kind of brought me closer together with them individually, but we're also able to stay together in a more peaceful environment. Mm-hmm. So it's, just taking away the anxiety and the constant stress that I'm having to watch them and a worry that they're going to get hurt. Taking that away is just a huge, huge impact on my life. And, we just have a much better relationship for it. And just recently, Lila's come to start to sleep on my chest at night. She used to do it when she was a kitten. She hasn't done it for years. She normally sleeps on the pillow next to mine at the same place as my head. But I've been barely getting any sleep because I just keep waking up and looking at her and just breathing in and just thinking, this is just the most wonderful thing, to look at their face, to feel that love radiating back and forth. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just amazing. And so I just lay there looking at her now.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love that.
She's not done it for years, and we've just come to a different position now. Mm-hmm. And it's quite hard to explain, but it is amazing. And, I'd do anything for them, and just knowing that I'm in a better position now to understand their needs and how we can, live together more harmoniously has been amazing.
Well, your vibration's different, my love, right? So she's like, actually, Mum, do you know what? I want to be around that now, Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, that is
Give me some.
Yeah, and when I meditate and I do it a few days in a row, I then get chest cuddles in the morning from Leo, right? Whereas when it's weeks without me meditating, I barely see him for dust, So I think that's beautiful.
The rewards of all of this work that I'm putting in, the rewards I'm getting from all three of them is just something money can't buy.
Yeah. If ever you needed a reason to meditate or to journal or to go and actually feel the gnarly stuff and have a good cry or shift the crappy stuff, think about what you're going to get afterwards. Like, that's the reason to do it, right?
100%.
Love it. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Well, a lot of mine is an echo of Claire and how things have been going. But Destiny and I were always very connected. But since then, our house is more peaceful, and it's just basically her time. And I mean, I play with her. She sleeps with me. She's usually right here or on my chest or wherever. She's got to be very close. And lately too, when I'm watching TV, she always likes to go on the couch right there, and then she'll set her paw down on my shoulder and stuff too now. And then I just look over at my husband. I'm like, look at her. And she just always has to, like, whether she's got to have a paw on me or something, but it's definitely her time. And we're just doing whatever we can to make her life happy. And she's got lots of toys for Christmas. So she's very good. She is fast asleep on the floor right by me, like usual. So she is here. But I just, like I said, I'm just at a different vibration too. And I think her and I get lots of kisses now too. And even during the night, she'll come up and, okay, the lick on the lips is, I'm like, okay, thank you. Yep. But she's just, we're very connected. And I feel like it's just through this program that's just grown even more. And I mean, she's the world to me, and I do anything for her. So yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I love that. I really wish we could see her, but let's not disturb her. Thank you very much. And David.
One of the things in the program, we have different modules, and one of the sections you call connection. And that is what I'm thinking of right now, that what has happened is that with the tools that we have and with the work that I have done, I have been able to establish a solid link between my heart and Walker's. And from day to day, there is that flow back and forth that happens with so much more ease than it did before. I'm also reminded of our cats are incredible teachers for us. And I try and maintain that reverence to him and respect to him as a teacher for me, that he is a reflection of my inner thoughts, my inner vibration. And if I look to him, it gives me an opportunity for self-improvement. And in self-improving, then it also, as I said before, ripples back out to him. So that is probably one of the things I'm most grateful for, is that flow. Not that every day doesn't have its challenges, as just happened before we did go live. My little guy decided he was going to throw up. And prior to the program, it would have been very disconcerting for me. And now I'm kind of like, not that I don't feel badly for him, but it's just like, okay, we'll get over it. He'll get over it. He's sitting there just waiting to be able to eat his lunch again. And to have that without spiraling into worry and concern and going down a rabbit hole of all the unnecessary emotions, and just be able to maintain an equilibrium and equanimity. There's no substitute for it.
Beautifully said. That is lovely. Thank you so much. So if anybody is interested in coming to join us, we would love to have you in the Become a Soul-Led Cat Guardian program. If you head to the Naturally Cats website and go to the top right, Become a Soul-Led Guardian, you can read all about the program and you can book a call with me. So the program isn't for everyone. Okay, the program isn't for people that want to fix their cats, the people that want, behavior support or advice. It's about people like we've talked about and we've shared this evening, people that are ready to look at themselves, to then support themselves with their cats, to shift and deal with their emotions, their pain, their trauma, their past. We all of us are empaths and highly sensitive people. So, it's for people that are ready to take the next step on their healing journey. And if that feels like you, I would love to chat with you. So head to my website and book a call with me. I can tell you all about the program, and you can come and join our private community. You can come and join these lovely SLG peeps, and you can deepen your connection with your cat. And as we've talked about today, the program gives you the capacity to come out of your head and to come into your heart, to step away from your anxieties and your fears, and to lead from faith and peace and joy. And let's be clear, there are challenges in amongst that. We're human. I had my cat wee on the chair. I wanted to scream and shout. I had to take a breath. I had to make a choice. And I use the tools in the program to deal with all of that. And like these lovely guys have shared this evening, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Life is not all rainbows and unicorns. But when you've got the tools, when you've got the community and the support to be able to navigate whatever it is life throws your way, it's a much better place to be. Like, it makes it just a little bit easier. So thank you so much to David, Jennifer, and Claire. I've really enjoyed being with you again. I know we could talk like all night, not just about the program, but about our cats. So I'm going to end the stream. Guys, stay where you are, because I just want to do a wrap up and say thank you to you, and we'll do a calm connection before I let you go. So thank you to everybody that's been with us tonight. Thank you for joining us live. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to pop it in the comments below the videos, or drop me an email, or head to the website. So thank you again, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.